You just have to tell everybody it's being recorded.
Yep. Hi, Lori. Can't hear you.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great. To see
Good. Happy Monday morning.
you. Woo. We just had rain like you guys had out in California. I came home last night from Montserrat, and oh my gosh, I can't believe how hard it was raining.
Oh,
That was
wow.
12 o'clock at night. It was one of the worst drives I've had in a long time.
Oh, wow.
That's all right. Great. Good. Everybody's coming in. We'll give them another 2 minutes here.
Hi.
Rose.
Hi, Rose.
Hi.
All right, we still have people coming in, so. All right. Let's just start this and people can jump in because we have a short amount of time to talk about a lot of really important stuff. So I didn't send out an agenda, which is not what I normally do, but because I want to leave this open for all of you to discuss. Our this is the beginning, or should I say, hey, welcome to our first May run of weekly program directors meetings. I'm really excited about doing this. I hope you guys find this to be helpful. It seems like every one of our program directors meetings, there's so much valuable information exchanged. As I stated 2 weeks ago, these we're gonna try to play with the times and the days so that as many people can come to these as possible. So there's gonna be some days where we might have a few people, some days where we might have more than a few. So without further ado, today's discussion is going to be on staffing. I literally 20 minutes ago just talked to the ASCA board, and the question that came up with them in terms of concerns about running programming is what are you guys doing about staffing? How are you doing? What are you doing to address your needs? And are you having troubles with it? Is it not a problem? And how can each of us help in the process of getting some more staffing help? So without me continuing on here, let's start off with the first question. How are you doing with? Are you having trouble getting staff into your Swim America programs? And you guys can just start talking. Let's just open it up. Arden, I see you are ready to talk.
Okay, well, being that we're restarting our program after a 3-year hiatus, we are just beginning to recruit coaches. It's not such an easy process, I think. I mean, we're reaching out to kids who worked for us before, but finding new coaches just out of the blue, like, randomly picking people up, is not so easy, I think.
what are some of the avenues that you're going down to get those kids, get those people?
Well, the first thing that we're doing right now is reaching out to some of the swimmers that we coached before, who are in the upper levels of our program, and also who are old enough yet that you have to be 14 to get a work permit here in California. And then some of the coaches that we had who worked with us before. So, you know, we've got a half a dozen commitments so far, but we'd like to look at, you know, getting double that.
Great. Does anybody have any suggestions for Arden to help her out? Because she's just restarting her program. It's not like she's been doing this. This is, how long has it been that you guys have not been up and running, Arden?
Our last summer was 2019.
Okay. Pre-COVID.
Yeah.
As many of us, you know, and that was also discussed at this meeting, you know, the situation with COVID and the effect that it's had on our pools, getting water, and our programs. So how's everybody else dealing with that? Does anybody have something to contribute to that?
Well, our biggest hurdle is we have a probably over 300 kid waiting list, and it's all because of lack of staff. We just can't class up any more kids. Our biggest issue is holding on to them. I'm curious what everybody is paying, what their range is, hourly rate for their coaches, because that was something we had to change to compete with a school district that started a lesson program.
Interesting. So Dan, the school district is offering more than your lessons.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
that's a whole nother, we could have a 4-hour meeting on that alone. What they're
Dan,
doing
where
with
do you live?
taxpayers' money, but
Dan,
Okay.
where are you?
in Frisco, Texas.
Okay, because I wondered the same thing. I'm in Virginia and kind of Southwest Virginia. And definitely with the change of minimum wage and Taco Bell offering $16 an hour and we're paying our people $12 an hour. I keep talking to my boss about how we have to raise it because it's just not competitive. But we don't have, you know, we don't really have a lot of extra money to just give people a $4 or $5 raise per hour, and we pay them
Right.
pretty generously. So for every 30 minutes they teach, they get paid for an hour. But I'm kind of in that same situation where I feel like they have a special talent to teach swimming and shouldn't get paid what somebody at Taco Bell gets paid. And I have people that are adults, as well as people that are 14 or 15 years old, getting paid the same amount of money, or within 50 cents to $1 different from each other. Some people have been teaching for 30 years, and some people just started teaching in January. So, and even my own pay is, I mean, I get paid $20 an hour to run our entire program. And that includes on-site and off-site, but I can make $20 an hour everywhere doing something way easier than what I do at Swim America. And I do love my job, but it's something that's starting to kind of get to me because I see where, I mean, I could go to Walmart and be a greeter and make $22 an hour. I could deliver newspapers for $28 an hour, or, you know, something that's like super brainless. And the other thing I was going to add besides that is, school teachers are a great resource for swim instructors. They're easy to train. They understand kids. They know how to identify with kids. They usually have afternoons available to help if they're interested. So for you, Arden, maybe that's somewhere that you can look. But back to Dan, yeah, this pay rate scale and keeping people, I usually buy my instructors a gift at the end of every 5-week session out of my own pocket, either a $10 gift card to Starbucks or some kind of treat from somewhere or something to just kind of incentivize them to stick around.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah, our biggest hangup is the you know, obviously the hours. So you can't get, you know, I love to get adults, and teachers are my favorite to hire because they know how to handle kids. And if they have a swimming background already, even better. But that prime time of 4 to 8, it's really difficult getting the adults. So we go after the kids. And the one thing we ran into is originally we were, I didn't want to mess around with the minimum wage thing. So we were 15 to 18 an hour. And now we're 20 to 25 for everybody just to compete. And one of the things we ran into was a school district who lost $1 million last year on all their aquatics programs are way overpaying lifeguards and instructors. So, we were losing kids to that program. What saved us was they're very seasonal. They start and stop throughout the year. So they have anywhere from a month to 2 month break. So obviously that didn't work for the people that want to work.
All right. So one of the things that I find with my program is once I have somebody working for me at least 3 or 4 months, and they show that they're good instructors, I offer them to do private lessons, because we also do private lessons here. And doing private lessons, they can make up to $50 an hour, because we do a 50-50 split with our private lessons. So that incentivizes them considerably. It's just, you got to be careful of them wanting to do all private lessons and no group lessons.
Right. That's right.
Right, yeah. Yeah, we offer a private bonus as well. The other thing that you mentioned, gift cards, we do a large part of our expenses we put on Amex cards, and we'll get $25 Amex gift cards, and we use those for Swim America as well.
Huh. That's great.
So I have a suggestion for Arden, and maybe it will apply to other people. Arden, do you have an existing list of past participants in your program?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what we did a couple times actually in the last couple of years is we looked back at the participants in our program
Mhm.
who are actually of working age. And we sent their parents an email inviting them to apply to be a swim instructor, swim coach. And explained, not very many words in an email, but explained that we would train them. Because a lot of times people just don't realize that they can come to us and we can train them. So that's one way to try to increase. And it's so low cost. It's a press of a button to all of the existing people, and super low cost, high impact. Like, I think we sent it out to maybe, I don't know, 400 kids or parents. And you'd think, okay, I hope we got 10, but don't you think all of you would really benefit from 10 people? And maybe only 8 really worked out, but it's just another way to try to attract people into your program. Lori, did you guys do that too?
We did not do that, Rose. We've done an internal, like a referral bonus program. So if our current staff refer their friends, then they get a bonus upon when their friend is hired, one after they've been here 30 days, and then one 6 months later. So kind of incentivizes them to find their good friends and refer them to us. And that's worked well for us, but I like your idea. I'm going to try that. We've got the waiting list too, and we really need some more instructors.
Yeah.
Rose, how much are you paying your coaches?
So that's
Your,
a
like,
really
entry
good question. So we're as are you, we're in California, so our minimum wage is $15.50. We hire everyone at that rate, and then we've established a career ladder for our whole staff so that they know what certifications they need in order to, and how many hours they have to work in order to earn an extra amount. And it could be between 3% and 5%. If they have lifeguard certification, it's another $1. When they finish all of their ASCA certification, they get another 50 cents, blah, blah, blah. So there's a really clear path, and it's not easy to do. And we're still there. You can see there's lots of, still every time we turn around, we're trying to figure out something else, but it gives them a clear path. So one more thing I want to say, and then I'm going to close my mouth, is I think sometimes we forget why people come and teach swimming lessons. I think we always think, let's just throw money at it and that we're going to attract them.
No.
And so I would argue that you need to really sit down with maybe the top 5 coaches that work for you and find out why they're working for you. Is it because they love to play with the kids? They can tap into being a kid. Is it because they love a little extra Starbucks money? They're not going to get rich doing this, but they're going to get rich in their character, and the mistakes that they make, they're only going to get stronger. And so I really encourage you to sit down. Why is it that people are coming to you? We did a whole thing on this, and our new recruitment strategy is get paid to play. Find your work family here at Swim America. And it really, because people said, you know, we love to work there because we feel like we're a family, or we love to work there because we get to play with kids. You can't do that at Walmart. You can't do that at Taco Bell.
That's right. And you know, besides playing, you're also serving your community in the best possible way. Like what other job is there where you're helping people be safe in an environment that is so profoundly impactful on all of us? You know, so it's like that that is all so very, very important, like really important, selling that element of it, you know. That's great.
Yeah, and don't forget what is the age group that we're working with? We're working with Gen Z. Gen Z wants a purpose. They want to know that what they're doing is purposeful.
Yeah.
You know, and so Bill, like you were saying, it's really important for them to understand, like, why do you want to work here? It's because you're going to help save a life.
Mm.
The skills that you teach are going to help save a life. That's purpose.
Yeah.
It's not money. That was generation before them. That's me.
No, that's great. Very good. Okay, so on the issue of money, and trying to attract people, does anybody else have anything else to contribute to that? It's like some of you have such great ideas with this. What else are we working with here?
I'll go ahead. So my name's Renee. I'm in Kansas, right outside, basically on the border of Kansas and Missouri. So our minimum wage has not moved yet. We just bumped to $15 an hour for starting. So our swim lessons instructors kind of didn't really get the boot. They were at 16 originally, but when they moved our lifeguard pay, we didn't really get to move our swim instructors. So we're kind of battling that, but ours have to be lifeguards in order to be our swim instructors as well. So we have 5 sites we run. Staffing, we're about, ideally, I'd like to be at 300 total staff with everybody included. So right now, our first session of swimming lessons, we're able to pull people off the wait list and fill those with our spots. So what I'm doing is probably a little bit different approach. I tried Rose's approach. I take all of my past participants and ask them to come be lifeguards for us and thus come be swim instructors. I was able to, I'm a government agency, so I have a lot of red tape. I was able to get an Instagram this year. It's more for my staff side, but they love being seen on Instagram. They love being tagged. So that has actually performed very well for me. And then what I did is in different groups that I'm in the aquatic industry, we have the Kansas City Metro Aquatics Council. And it's just a group of area aquatics professionals in this area. And I just kind of brought up, how are we going to get, obviously, a lifeguard shortage, people not being able to swim. So we started getting into the middle schools and teaching basically water safety instruction to these kids. Getting into the schools is hard around here. So you can't really go in and do career fairs anymore, as far as like going to their lunch and sitting there. So we go and do the middle schools. We paired up with the PE teachers. We do kind of, throw, don't go, just as simple. There's 3 of us that are doing it. We're from different agencies. We all 3 teach very different swim lessons programs, but we're able to get in there and kind of teaches these kids a little bit about lifeguarding, keeping people safe around the water. So we're doing that. The other thing that I'm doing is I am getting applicants from this, but I'm doing mock interviews with another middle school in a completely different school district. That gets me in with the teachers, and I actually am getting applicants from the teachers or handing me their resumes when I go there. So kind of thinking outside the scope of, you know, emails and all of that works a little bit, but I don't get as big a return as the face-to-face and being in front of people. So pairing with different school districts, doing the water safety. So we'll do a big one starting in the fall with one school district. We'll meet all their PE teachers and talk about swim instructors and getting them like somewhat water watcher certified, and then we'll go help them as much as they'll allow us. And then I'm starting another high school as well in the fall that I paired up with PE teacher and getting in with those. So at least getting in front of the kids and like showing them this is what it is has helped. Because what we've found is the anxiety of kids, they are stressed out. They don't want to do anything hard work. They want lots of money, but less work involved. So we did a client partnership with a school, a high school, and they just talked about like why kids don't want to guard and be swim lesson instructors. And basically that's what they found from their study is, yeah, 15 hours is great, but they don't want to work very hard for that 15. So they'd rather go to Chick-fil-A and work less in their mind and not worry about saving a life. So kind of what we're doing here.
So saving a life, you know, and I've heard that before, that the responsibility weighs heavy on some of these kids' shoulders. That's actually something, you know, to me, it's like, you know, if I don't even know what generation I'm in anymore, but but you know, that's something that I really took as a wonderful responsibility. And I have talked to kids that are like, you know, it's just that's just too much. I don't want to have other people's lives on my shoulders, you know? So yeah, I've heard that too, Renee. Thank you very much for that. Great. So that's so who else we got? We see a lot of blank screens. If you guys could pop your screens on so we see it, that would be awesome too. But who else? Let's hear some more comments on this. This is great. I love the idea of going into classes. We used to do a water safety class where we actually worked with the school district where the kids, we'd get like 98 kids coming in here, and we'd do a variety of different certifications with them, Red Cross certifications in 1 week. And from those kids, wow, we got a lot of people interested in working with us. So yeah, the face-to-face is really important. Great. What else? Does anybody else have any suggestions? We're talking about how to get people into your program. Let's even expand that out. How do you get people to stay in your program once they come in? And what kind of pay are we giving them? You know, it seems like we're going to continue down that road.
Well, Bill, here in Central Ohio, because of my club, most of my recruiting for my teachers are through my high school and senior program, and we strategically place the lessons to be compatible with their training. So they train 6 to 9 in the morning, lessons start at 9:30. So they don't have to go anywhere. They stay there, they work till noon, they're done. They come back for afternoon practice, and evening lessons start right after their afternoon practice. Now, not everybody does that entire day, but we get a good sized group of the kids that train in the morning, and there are instructors for the morning session. And then the kids that train in the afternoon are instructors for the evening program. In the program that we run over the course of the 8 weeks, we'll put somewhere between 25 to 3,000 kids through our lesson program. Staffing is, you know, at times a challenge. And one of the things I'm seeing the trend with kids now is that they don't want to work the entire week. So they'll come and they'll say, well, I can work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but I want Tuesday, Thursday off, but they're assigned to a class that goes all week. So that's been my biggest challenge is saying, no, you got to work, you got to work the entire week. Now the next week is a new session of kids, so they don't recognize the change in the instructor, but we try to make that as consistent as possible. But I've also found that smaller incremental raises for these are better. as we go along, I will let kids know we do bonus incentives if we get feedback from a parent saying, hey, John was fantastic today. Nobody's been able to get my daughter underwater. And little Sally is going underwater blowing bubbles for John. Well, John gets an immediate little bonus. The ideas of the gift cards, that's what those are for. Supervisors are stocked with those little $5 Starbucks cards and that kind of stuff, and they give them to them immediately if something like that happens. And then the supervisors continually evaluating the effectiveness of each of the coaches, and then I review that and then let them know that, hey, you got a 15-cent raise, and that's a big deal at that particular time. Just that little bit of reinforcement, and of course they get from one season to the next. So we do basically 2 seasons. We do a school year program, and then we do a summer program. There's not really much of a break between, but it's a different group of kids. We have much less space indoor here than we do outdoor. So our indoor program is a much smaller staff, and they see those raises right through the school year. But we do start at $10.10 is the minimum wage now here in Ohio. So they have to start at that. And there is a training phase. We have a 12-hour training phase that's part of their instruction and certification. And so they get paid, students can be paid less during that part. And then, so that's their first bonus right then. Their first raise is after their training phase is over. So they know that if they work through that part, they're up to minimum wage at that point. Then they extend on. And if they reach certain levels, very similar probably to what Rose does, probably not as intricate, but they meet certain levels, and then they can become, we have the coach, well, we have junior coaches, which are basically our training. Then we have a coach level, then we have a senior coach level, then we have a mentoring coach. And with each of those, there's a different pay rate that goes up. And by the time they get up to being a mentoring coach, which means they will have the training coaches under them for those 12 hours. And they're up to about $16 an hour there. The other group that we're tapping into now is the younger moms, the ones that actually have their kids. And so those that teach what we call our bubble babies, they get to have their child in the water with them, and they're teaching the class. And so that's been effective, as well as at the other end, the adult lessons, tapping into some of the parents that either have been master swimmers and they're good working with adults, and they're doing that. So that's where we're doing it. We do have that same effect that I've heard mentioned here, where now not only the fast food places, but even the area pools, it's being very competitive to try and get staffing there. So they're paying lifeguards, $16, $18 an hour, and so it's tough to compete with that. But I go back to a couple other things that were mentioned here, and that is the value that they offer to the quality of life of these kids, and the giving back what the sport has given them up to this point in time. And we promote that within our club, is that the profits that we make in our lesson program affect the fees that I charge for my competitive program, because it's all one business. And so as they're coming up, if they help out in the lesson program, and the lesson program is successful, that keeps their fees down over the course. So it's an unobserved win for them financially, because our club fees don't go up as much. So and it's education right from the very beginning, and of course our lesson program is our feeder program for our team. And therefore, then they're coming up with that that mentality of, hey, we learned to swim in Swim America. Now we're competing. And now we're giving back. So,
That's great.
so that's my 2 cents there.
That, Jim, thank you so much. So I'd like to, this is what I heard from you, Jim, and I almost feel like it's something that we should really think about as an organization. You know, we're very dependent on the station method to teach, but what about incorporating some degree of station method into our coaches' training so that there are levels as the coaches continue on? You know, you have your beginning coaches, you have your intermediate coaches, your senior coaches, and have specific goals for them to reach to get to those points. And you know, it's like to me, the station method is obviously so successful as a way to get the kids excited about swimming. What about incorporating that to a certain extent for helping our coaches feel excited about improving themselves? You know, that's just something that, you know, we could throw out there and discuss in the future. One of the things the board was interested in is what are we doing to reevaluate the program and to continually upgrade it. And you know, we've talked about that a little bit in our program directors meeting, but I think in the future, we're going to have to be a little bit more calculated in that and say, you know, by next year, we'd like to, you know, have a reevaluation of X number of elements of the program. So that's just something I think that just really gave me an idea about that, Jim, that I think could really work for everybody. So that's a half hour. We talked. Does anybody else have anything else about money? And I think from me, what I got out of that is that, you know, we are paying our people varying degrees here, but we have to instill within them that this job is so much more than just flipping burgers and being a greeter at Walmart, you know, and trying to instill in our instructors the effect they're having on the community. Does anybody else have anything else they want to say on that issue, the financial elements of that? Is that all good? Yeah, Miss Cherry? You have to give us your audio. You have to. Come on, you can do it. Okay. Good. Okay, so figure we can't hear you. So just go down to the bottom there and get rid of the X over your microphone. All right.
There. Does that work?
That's
Yep.
it.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm not real computer wise here. In our situation, being by a beach, and I came in late and I do apologize. We sometimes not only fight the lifeguards in the pool, but the lifeguards on the beach. And they struggle also. And I think I came in when they were talking about, you know, kids just don't want to work hard for their money anymore. So what we do here is we use not only the competitive swimmers to staff us, but also we get great response to people that have gone through the program. And when they get old enough, we tell them, come give back to the program that you learned. And that's huge. They come back and it's huge. The other thing is that kids, the coaches are very, you know, talking about teaching them to go higher in what they're doing, but there's some children or some coaches that just don't want to teach those preschoolers, or they don't feel comfortable teaching butterfly. And you know, I'm a firm believer, and I tell them, you tell me what you feel comfortable doing, and those are the stations that I'll place you in. Because if they're uncomfortable, those kids that they're teaching will hone in on that. And if they're uncomfortable, the children would be uncomfortable. So I really try to place my student or my teachers in with the skill levels that they are very secure and comfortable with, because they become much better instructors for the children in those particular skills. And that's what I do. I don't know if that's right or not, but you know, I know a few of my coaches say, don't get me anywhere near those preschoolers, or no, I feel comfortable in doing the stations 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, but I don't want to do the higher stations, you know. And that's what I try to do. I try to keep everybody real comfortable in what they're doing, and that makes it enjoyable for everybody.
Well,
As
that's
far
amazing.
as, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's, you know, that is a major element of Swim America, that we can be flexible in so many ways, including where you work. I mean, what place of employment do people are asked, would you like to work in this and feel comfortable in this environment? More than anything, it's like, we need you here, and that's it. But
Yes.
thanks a lot, Sherry. And I just want to go back to the chat here, and you know, master swimmers, retired professionals who love swimming, that's a great one. Amanda said that. And you know, the teaching fellows, you know, it's like people who are looking for service type. Lori, is that basically what that is? The teachers, teaching
You know,
fellows?
I'm not super familiar. It's just a group here in town, and they actually hire students at the college and give them teaching opportunities. I know they're working in elementary schools, and then they let us go ahead and we posted a job with them. And so now the teaching fellows are reaching out to us, and we've had quite a few applications. So it's new for me, but you guys could see if you have anything like that in your area where college students are actually going into a teaching field, and this program provides them opportunities to get paid experience, and they've directed them to us. So crossing our fingers, their applications are coming in. So I think they'll be the right kind of person, hopefully.
That's great. That's great. You know, one of the things also, you know, I'm reading this from Amanda also about that they have, you guys use volunteers down there in the Bahamas, and there are a lot of high schools that they have a service element to that the kids have to take care of before they graduate. And you know, I know that there are some people that tap into that through the high schools to try to turn teaching kids how to swim into a service credit that the kids would need from high school. So that might be something. Some high schools do that, some high schools don't. In this area we do, and I've had kids get that kind of credit. So in the college here we have to have the service, and the kids get through that. So so that's something that you might also, and what better way to do service and get paid for it, and to have the effect they have. So that's a really wonderful thing. Thank you for that. Okay, so with 20 minutes left, in terms of our staff, what do you guys do? What do you guys do for ongoing training? What do you guys do for ongoing training? Because ongoing train, you know, and this is all tied in together, because the more you keep it interesting for your instructors, and the more they feel that they're improving, the more they're going to want to stay in your program. So what are some of the training elements that you guys incorporate on a daily basis, or even a monthly or a step-by-step basis for your instructors? Has anybody got anything they can add for that?
I can. On a daily basis, we have what we call our pre-shift huddle. And so we'll choose a focus of the week, something that we've been watching them, observing that they can improve upon. We'll just make that our coaching focus of the week, have a real quick chat about it as they're going out onto the pool deck, just to try to have them focus on creating that as a new habit in their teaching.
Great. I love that. Yeah, one thing a week.
Cool.
Yeah, that's great. What else? What else do you guys do? Let's make this a lightning round.
I always ask if there's any questions or comments. I ask them from the students, the parents and the teachers.
Great, great. What else? What else do you guys do? What about our post-class huddle? You know, following along with using that. I mean, I find that that's one of the most effective times to really bring it out with the kids. And of course, we're using the sandwich method. What they did great and what they can improve on. And I love those conversations, because oftentimes I will start that and then stop talking, because the instructors will all start talking with each other and helping each other learn how to be better instructors. And I love when that kind of interaction starts happening, and when they feel like they're part of a team that's a supported team, that's so valuable. Great. All right, anything else? Give me one more. What else do we got? Nothing. All right, good. So anything else? So did we finish, did we finish the conversation about money with, is everybody feeling like I got a halfway decent idea about this, or is there anything else that we could flesh out? Dan, you raised some interesting points. Do you feel like you got what you need from this on the point that you raised?
Yeah, I like I took a couple notes here that I like the coaching titles idea. It just spells out the graduation and pay raises.
Yeah.
And also I think Rose raised a sheet up that showed I assume it was a clear wage path.
Yeah.
For her instructors.
Based on
And then the
certification.
compliment bonuses, that might be something that could be tied to online responses as well, because that's something that we have a hassle with, bad reviews.
Yeah.
Seems like the negative ones come out a lot easier than the positive. Maybe you tie those compliment bonuses to online positive reviews as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
One other thing I want to mention, something we did. Jim mentioned that he's tied to a team as well, and I don't know how many other directors here have teams behind their programs.
Yep.
The issue we ran into, as I mentioned before, was we had a large waiting list, and at the same time we had another problem with the kids. Obviously we have kids graduating monthly, going on to the swim team. And as we found, as we get through the year, these kids were coming in and they were, obviously months behind the kids that have been training on the team already. So kind of to solve both our staffing issues and that issue, we reorganized the entire program. And instead of going 2-day-a-week classes, we had two options. We had the Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then we had a Friday only and a Saturday only. And it was killing our average, and it wasn't helping us with the staffing issue or the waiting list. So we changed the entire program. Everybody only has an option of going 3 times a week. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And those are your only options. And we raised the fees. Now we didn't charge them more, we just charged them for that extra day or 4 days a month. And what that did was it knocked us down from 800 kids a month down to roughly, we average about 500 kids a month now, year round. So it eased up on the staffing issue, and at the same time, the kids going over to the swim team throughout the year are a little better prepared. They're going 3 times a week, and they're a little closer to the kids there.
Yeah.
So that was something we did, and it increased our income quite a bit, even with the numbers going from 800 to 500 per month. So that was a plus, and it helped us with the wage increases.
Great. That's great.
About what does everyone charge per lesson in their program or per session of lessons? Like what's your average end up being per lesson?
Well, our per month is $294 for 12 lessons.
Okay,
Mine is 120 for 5.
all right. I think I'm gonna have to start raising my fees.
I charge 70 for 4 lessons.
That's really cheap.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, I charge 110 for 7 lessons with a built-in makeup.
Whoa. No
That's
makeup
cheap
here.
though.
I know, I'm generous. Look, I'm a sucker for this stuff.
I think in 2019, we were charging $75 for 4 lessons, and that'll go up now.
Yeah, yeah. So we're all basically around 125 to 170 for 8 lessons or so in that area.
Well, you
So-
have to also keep in consideration on your fees, what the other programs are charging.
That's right.
And, from like the Wise or the rec centers or stuff like that, because you don't want to overcharge for it. You'll never get anybody come.
That's right. That's right. I have found that that I can raise that I started being able to raise my fees once people saw the quality of the program.
Exactly.
You know, that's a big one, you know, and I've had people come from pretty far away, involved with like Swim Angelfish and not Swim Angelfish, the goldfish swimming. I have people coming over from Albany, which is about an hour away from us. So that can happen too. You know, it all depends on your quality.
And I have done that, exactly. I've increased it based on the word of mouth quality of our program.
Yeah.
I usually tell people too that they're not just paying for their coach, they're paying for the supervisor or the program director to be on site,
Yeah.
who's managing all of the details, making sure their child can move smoothly from one station to another or one instructor to another to best suit them. So as soon as I tell them that, and ours might be $1 or $2 per lesson more than the YMCA, we have a lot of people that complain about other lesson programs where there doesn't seem to be a focus and the instructor's just kind of pulling the kids around the pool and the kid isn't really learning a set of skills where they actually see in our program that it's focused and each lane or each group of swimmers is doing a specific group of things.
Yeah. You know, I'm just going to comment on that quickly. One of the things that I hear from talking to people all over the country is that there is, because for some, you know, either you get involved with a franchise, you get involved with Swim America, or you're involved with one of the other programs that we're all very familiar with. And a lot of those other programs that we are very familiar with have lost, it seems that they've lost their focus. And a lot of people are starting to, like, what I'm hearing is people are developing their own programs because there's a lack of support out there from the traditional programs out there. And I feel like what you just said, Susan, is really important in that a Swim America program is focused. It's really focused. When your child is in station 2, they are working on floats and glides, and that's it. And they do bobs in the beginning to practice. They might do some bobs intermittently throughout that class intermittently, but it is focused on a skill. And I think that is the delineating factor for Swim America that we really have to concentrate on in the future. Because we do give the support and we are trying to be that focused. So that's just, I'm hearing that from around the country, and I tried to explain that to the board a little bit, and I think Swim America can fill a void that's really been starting to open up pretty intensely in the swim lesson field. I don't know, does anybody have any feelings about that?
I
Well,
agree.
along those same lines, I have a new instructor that came from a Y swim lesson program, which she didn't really she was hesitant to say yes to our program, but she was referred to by a friend that teaches with me. And the first day that she taught, she said, "This is so great because I actually know what to teach because you're telling me what I'm teaching. And I don't feel just lost by myself." So she promised us one session of 5 weeks. And she's an experienced swim instructor. She's probably taught swim lessons for 5 years and done lower level swim team in the summer, in the Y programming. Like, she's really experienced. And I'm so fortunate that she came to us through a friend. But I mean, she's been teaching for a long time, not knowing what to do. And so even for her, I think the instructors feel very secure that they're not alone. And if they're lost in a moment and not sure how to deal with a certain person, you're literally right there to say, "Hey, why don't you try this?" Or at the end of the lesson, go back to them and say, "Next time you see that child, I think this may work better for them." So it's a great team effort that I just think elevates the program from others.
Great. So I'm just looking at some of the comments here, and sadly, Sue Schwartzel is her mic is not working, and but she has added in a number of really great comments here. Coaches should be placed in their best fit. She gives a free 45-minute lesson to school age kids, and then 45-minute lesson to preschool kids, just to bring them in, to let them see what her program is like. And then some of you guys are charging less than I charge, which kind of makes me feel a little better. But okay, that's great. All right, now I have to get down and coach on deck in about 2 minutes here. But does anybody have anything, a concern that we have not addressed in terms of staffing? Has this been helpful to you? And is there anything else that you would like others to comment on, an issue that you've been trying to work through that you could use another voice in there?
Well, I got some good hints, so I want to thank you guys for some of the comments.
Great.
I have one other quick question. Do you guys consider a junior coach as someone who has never coached lessons ever, or someone who is just brand new to Swim America? Because I do have that question come up when we hire people who've taught swimming other places, is should they be getting paid the same thing as someone who has never taught swim lessons, because they're both brand new to our particular program?
Comments on that?
I think previous experience should always be brought into the equation in terms of wage. But I'd also like, because I know we're going to get off here pretty quickly, one of the things I'd like to know across the board is what people are doing specifically with training besides the online thing. What are we doing to prepare your new coaches? And that would be a topic for another time,
Yeah.
Bill, if you want to. Because I think we're one of the things that we push is the quality control within this program.
Yes.
And from talking with other people, over time, I think that varies from program to program. And I think one of the things we can work for is consistency in that. And I'm sure, just like today, there's folks that have a lot of really good ideas and what they're doing.
Yes, Jim, that's great. And we talked about that in the last program directors meeting. And one of the things that I would like to one of my goals for 2023 is to start getting some good videos, and so that, yes, there's the online training, but then you guys have the PowerPoint that Rose, we use the basis for that from Rose and from Lori, I would like to have a PowerPoint that you can use that has videos and explanations so that you can take that online training that will be consistent for everybody internationally. And then you can also use a PowerPoint that supplements that, but also gives you the opportunity to give your local, what's happening with your program locally, and what makes your program unique, because there are a lot of different iterations of Swim America. So yes, that is one of my goals. And if you, and some of you have already said that you're interested in helping out with that, and I really, really appreciate it. So that is a goal, Jim, and consistency is going to be important as we move on, without a doubt. So that's good. Does anybody else have anything else?
Yeah, I would like to ask real quick, has anybody had any luck with online recruiting services like Indeed or any of those? No.
Use them.
A little bit. You guys have tried, Lori, Rose, you guys have
Yeah,
tried?
we use Indeed ongoing. It's just, you get a lot of applications and you do a lot of work sorting through to find the right people. Definitely not your hot lead, but we have had some success.
Yeah, that's the one we use. That's why I was asking if there's any others out there.
Dan, so have you gotten good leads from that?
No, she basically covered it's the same thing that goes on with her.
All right. Okay. I love the idea of trying to keep the program somewhat in-house, whether it's from your swim team, your masters. It just, to me, it just kind of creates a community around what you're doing, and that there's always a strength to that. There's always a nice strength to that. But you got to have people who want to teach them the kids and get them any way you can. So that's great. Anybody else? Listen, I got to be honest with you. Last night I got home at like 12 o'clock. I was in Montserrat for 2 weeks helping the British government create a lifeguard service on the island down there because they lose so many people. And it was a crazy ride home, but sitting here with you guys has been wonderful, and it's been better than coffee. So thanks a lot. And so next week we are on next Friday. And I think that's at 1 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. I'll send out an invitation and a reminder to everybody. And we'll start. Wait, what are we going to talk about next week?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What's on the agenda?
What do you think? You guys tell me.
Well, I think training would be a really good subject, seeing that we're probably heading into that season right now.
All right, that's great. Training and what we're doing with that. That's good. All right, that's great. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a really great week. And it was great seeing you this morning.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.